Well, as 2016 slowly, finally comes to an end, I think it's time I made that 1 month into uni catch-up video I said I'd make, right? Let's talk. My start to uni was not the best start to uni I could have had. There was a lot of stress, just generally as you'd expect, with moving away from home, moving to a big city, dealing with new people, not knowing what university would be like, especially when coming from a pretty small school, all of that general university stress. But built on top of that was a layer of family matters that were going on that made me more stressed and more worried and more anxious, which didn't really put me in a woo, let's go to uni, have a fun time sort of mindset. Our week with my uni was pretty lackluster. We didn't really do much. We had a day where we went in and met other people in our degree and sort of got a little tour, got to know the area, got to know the science department expectations and all of that sort of stuff, which was good. It was a little disheartening to me because I realized that everyone else in this room was either an international student or they still lived at home. There was no other regional kids, and I was like, really? I couldn't believe it. I was definitely thinking that when I went to uni I would meet other people, and it's kind of my fault because I didn't live in a dorm. I lived in a rent place, so I wasn't surrounded by other people that had to move out for home, so I didn't meet anyone else from the country at my uni literally until second semester, and they weren't even in my degree. So that was kind of weird, and it didn't make me feel great because all these other people's issues with moving to uni were very, very different than the ones that I was facing. I really didn't have a fun time my first few weeks at uni. The place is so big and there's so many people and you just don't feel like you have a home base, I guess. I didn't know anyone else in my degree and it was really difficult to get to know people as someone who has not had to make friends at school since like year 3. I had a lot of really tough nights and a lot of really tough days. I don't think I was completely prepared and ready to move out of home. I don't think I was right for that. I'm so close-knit with my tiny, tiny family, and to be away from them, my massive support system, at probably one of the most poignant, important times in my life, didn't bode too well for me, and I stressed a lot and I freaked out a lot and I cried multiple times in public, which wasn't fun. I once started crying in a maths lecture, which is just the most awkward thing because you feel it happening, because I think someone was probably talking about what their mum was cooking them for dinner. I don't know, it didn't take much to set me off in my first few weeks, and I could feel it building up that I was really not good and I felt like I was gonna start crying. And anytime you try and stop yourself crying, you just start crying quicker because you're like, don't do it, don't do it, don't cry, don't cry, you're in a lecture, this is weird, this is weird. Ugh. And then I had to awkwardly leave and just sort of and it's hard when you're just in this big public place where you don't have a space that's your space, when home is 30 to 40 minutes away by train and there's only so long you can sit in a toilet trying to calm yourself down. But I only really had 2 bad times, but they were bad. One of them was that lecture and the other one I was in a train station shopping centre, and it just felt like something out of a movie. Like I was looking around for somewhere to go as I hyperventilated and freaked out as a 365, no, that's not how many degrees, 360 degree camera just whipped around me. Wow, that was really attractive. It was just a lot. It was a lot. But it got a little better and I started to feel more accepting of my situation, and it was okay. And I'm very blessed and very lucky that I got to go home like every weekend. I had public transport options that were very, very long and sometimes very, very weird, but I had a way to get home, and I could come home to my parents and I could cry to them for hours, and they were lovely and beautiful and so good to me, and it was okay. And I had to think in those moments about the people that had moved away from home that couldn't just go home every weekend. I'm very lucky to be regional but not that regional. One of the hard things though was coming home every weekend and having a lot of people be like, how's uni? Isn't it great? Aren't you having the best time? Oh my god, I'm so happy for you. And I was just sort of going, yeah, no, it's really good. And then in my head I was like, I cried like every night this week. But yeah, no, I'm really having a great time. But something that made it really difficult was that I really was having a good time in my degree. I loved what I was studying. It was exactly what I wanted to study. That was all great. I loved my flat. I loved where I lived. I loved my bedroom. That was all great. I loved the area that I lived in. I loved the public transport. I loved being in such an active, vibrant city. I loved all of that. There was no negatives really associated with the city apart from it not being home. And I just had to take a while to get used to that. And I thought I was going quite well along that road, that quest. And I did try and film a video, but this happened. Oh my god, like I'm not, see, like I'm crying now, and I thought that I would be really good at making this video now because like I have not cried in like weeks about this, which I was completely unprepared for, and I couldn't believe it, and it made me realize that I had just bottled up a lot of that emotion. So I cried a little bit more, I talked it out a little bit more, and then I felt a lot better again, and I have not felt that bad ever since. I'm feeling a lot better now, and I'm so excited for next year at uni. So my second semester was way better. I really felt like I had friends and people that you can just sit next to, in lectures. I think that's a really difficult thing is to find people that you recognize and go, oh, I can sit next to them and I can talk to them. It's just a very different thing to have to get used to and have to really actively work at making friendships happen. I'm pretty lucky that my degree is pretty small, and we had a class each semester that was basically just us, so you did see those faces a lot and you did get to know each other and you got to know names and what people enjoyed doing, and it made it a lot easier, and we all sort of banded together, and when exams came we all could freak out together, and that was really nice. I have made friends that I really appreciate and that I'm really happy to have, and everything is looking up and everything is looking okay. And I think if I could show first week Tara that, I don't think it would help her. Which maybe is not what you expected me to say, because here's the thing. I'm a very rational person, and in my first few weeks at uni, as I cried and cried, I knew it would get better. I knew I wouldn't feel so homesick. I knew there would be weekends where I wouldn't want to go home, whatever. I knew I would make friends. But it's so hard, and it's a long and arduous process, and especially when uni is something you build up so much in your head, it's hard when it doesn't meet those expectations. This year has been a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and not much just chilling in the Midlands, which I hope I get a bit of next year, because as much as these ups were great, the downs were so bad, and I just put me here just for a little bit. Just for a little bit. But the important thing is that I really do love what I'm studying. I'm finding joy and happiness in where I'm living, and I'm happy to be experiencing the city in this way, and I love my university. Everything is so great, and I'm so lucky and so grateful to be able to go to university, to be able to study what I want to study, and to be surrounded by people that are also really enthusiastic about what you're studying. I'm lucky that I had such a really big support system around me that helped me and told me it was going to be okay, and listened to me cry and hugged me and held me close. I'm grateful that my new friends are so kind and lovely and enthusiastic and understanding, and everything is so great. Everything's coming up roses. Everything's fine. Everything's good. It wasn't good for a bit, for a long bit. It was bad and horrible, but now it's great, and the future looks great, and everything's gonna be great. A few months ago, I was not looking forward to going back to uni. I was thinking about whether I should take time off or do it part-time, but now that it's summer holidays and I'm stuck not learning, I just want to be back. I just want to be learning and be with my uni friends and at my uni, and everything is fun and everything is great, and it was hard and now it's not, and I'm feeling good.